All right, so let's finish up with the wrist. I have the normal wrist scan that's linked in the course here. We'll start with the coronal. This again should be very familiar, should look very familiar to you. The only difference is you're not quite seeing, because these are slices, you're not seeing, and this is probably maybe the only, maybe this, and you're not quite seeing all of the carpal bones all at once. You're only seeing portions of some of them because we're doing it different slices throughout the wrist. So let's start with kind of where we can see, let's look at the easiest ones to see. Start with the radius and the ulna. So when you start with radius and ulna, you know this is thumb side or first digit, and then go from there. That's always the way I find it easiest to point out the anatomy. So here's your scaphoid, here's your lunate, here's your triquetrum, and then we know anterior to the triquetrum is the pisiform, and there's your pisiform right there. Okay, so see how we're not really seeing any other anatomy in this plane except for the pisiform, and then you're kind of seeing the hook of the trapezium over here. So here's your pisiform. Going back, trapezium, trapezoid, capitate, hamate. Okay, and then our joint spaces, we have mid-carpal here, we have intercarpal here, we have radiocarpal here, and we have carpometacarpal here. Okay, so those are your joint spaces. That's your coronal. Let's switch over to the axial. Okay, our axial view. This is probably, I don't know that this is the hardest, but again, start down. I think the axial and the sagittal. Sagittal is probably the hardest, I think. So axial, again, start down with radius and ulna, and then come up. Your first bone coming in on the radius side is your scaphoid. Okay, scaphoid, lunate, triquetrum right here. Okay, and then anterior to triquetrum, pisiform. Okay. And then keep going down, and then I find it easiest to get your 4 bones in at once, okay? Right here like this. Here's your hamate, capitate, sorry, had a little problem there. Capitate, trapezoid, trapezium. And remember, the hook of the trapezium and the hamate are what makes up the tunnel, the arch that makes up the carpal tunnel. Okay, and remember there's a bundle of nerves, the median nerve, that kind of looks like spaghetti coming out at you, right there. Okay, there's your bundle of spaghetti coming out at you. All right, so that's your, in the axial plane. Let's go to sagittal. Sagittal, start all the way out, and here's your radius. First bone coming in laterally is going to be your trapezium, and then you want to look for the duck. See the duck? There's your scaphoid. Okay, so trapezium, scaphoid, trapezoid. Okay, keep going back. Lunate looks like a moon. It looks like a crescent moon. So there's your lunate. That's where it gets its name from. Lunate articulates with the capitate. Okay, and then keep going back. I'm now going to have my triquetrum, my pisiform right here, and then I'm going to have my hamate. And there's your hook of your hamate right there. Hamate. Okay, so those are the wrist bones in the 3 different planes. Again, I just want to remind you that you do need to know different on this. In the axial plane, hamate, capitate, trapezoid, trapezium, hook, arch or tunnel, median nerve, bundle of spaghetti. Okay?